Hello there, this is Mr. Alfonso. This is day 3 of Unit 1. We'll be learning about population growth. So by the end of today, you'll be able to identify factors influencing population growth, whether it makes it grow or makes it decrease, and being able to read population graphs and explain why they change. Before, though, let's go and write down these essential questions for the day. Your essential questions are: what causes populations to reach their carrying capacity? And 2, in a population pyramid, why is there an issue of having a very wide base, meaning the bottom of the pyramid? So by the end of this lesson, you should answer these 2 questions at your summary. Alright, the first note I want to give is basically to reloop what we learned last time with symbiosis. So 1, you'd have to acknowledge that this is always a predator-prey graph. Notice that there is a relationship. If they go up, down, that means it's a predator-prey. And this will always be true. Whichever one always has the highest line, that will always be prey. And whichever one has a slower line will be predator. Sometimes it might be even blend like this, where predator goes above prey. But if you look at the very top, prey will always be above predator. Now what I want y'all to notice here is the relationship. When prey is at its highest, that's usually when predator is at its lowest. The reason why is because when there is not a lot of predators, it usually means the prey has nothing eating them, so they can thrive and repopulate and make more babies. But if you notice here, when prey goes up, not long after, predator also goes up. That's because predators now have a lot of food, because prey is the food. And when predator is up, look at this, prey starts to go down because there are now more predators eating the prey. And as it goes down, it reaches a low point. And again, if you notice, when there's not a lot of prey, predators don't have a lot of food. So predators start going down because they're dying from no food, and then the cycle repeats. Not a lot of predators to eat the prey, so prey goes up, etc., etc. It will always follow that pattern. So what I'd like you to write down is there will always be more prey than predators. That is because you always need more food than people eating food. Second, don't worry about that. Don't worry about this story. That you will hear this story in class. First thing you need to write down is the word demography. All it means is the study of human populations. So when you see the word demography, just think of populations. Now, second thing, the population pyramid diagram. So what you need to know for this is the bottom blue means the children that are there. The middle green are the adults in the population. And the top red ones are the elderly, the grandparents. What you need to understand is if the bottom pyramid is large, then the population is growing fast. If you look at this graph, the bottom part goes all the way to 7. That means on average, families are having 7 kids per family. And if they're having 7 kids per family, the population is going to grow very fast. If you look here in Australia, it's slow growth. In the US. The base is not that big. If you look, the number is 4. That means they're having only about 4 kids per family. So the growth, they're still growing, but it's a lot slower. If you notice here in zero growth, they're at about 2 or 3. That means they're not growing because there's 2 parents, and you have 2 kids that replace those parents when they die, so it's 0 growth. This is the most important part. Knowing that the population is fast, it has rapid growth if the base is wide. That's an issue because then if a population continues to grow and they run out of space or food, then the population will die, or a lot of people will die because they don't have enough resources. So there's that. Next. Population growth. This is called a J-curve or an exponential graph because it looks like the letter J. An exponential means it increases very fast. And you need to understand limiting factors means they don't have anything stopping them from getting bigger. So there's no limiting factors because the population is growing very fast. Next thing, if you pause real quick and answer this question, do you think it can keep growing forever? Pause. Now the answer is no, because eventually they'll run out of resources. No more food, no more water, no more living space. So it can't keep doing this. What's going to happen is they're going to have limiting factors. Limiting factors stops population from growing, and this could be biotic or abiotic factors. That could be because of food. There's not a lot of food, so the population goes down. It could be disease. When people get sick, they could die, and that causes the population to go down. Again, that's a limiting factor. And all of these are also limiting factors. Anything that causes people to die and causes the population to go down or stop growing is called limiting factors. Now, what ends up happening is when they reach this graph and they get limiting factors, the population starts to either go down or go in a straight line. That leads us to our next slide called logistical growth, or an S-shaped curve. Now, all you got to know for this is that it has a limit. It stops. It's called a carrying capacity. So it's going to go here and then end up stopping right here. This is the limit. So finally, what I need you to write down is the word carrying capacity. This word means the most amount of organisms an environment can support. It's like the room capacity. I can only have this many organisms living here. If I have any more, then we run out of food, we run out of water, we run out of living space. So we can't have any more than the maximum amount. Again, that's called carrying capacity. This is the limit of the environment. When you're below the carrying capacity, there are more births than deaths. But when you're above the carrying capacity, more people are dying because you don't have enough food or water. Now, finally, this is what you need to write down. I'm just going to copy this. Number 1, draw an arrow right here. That is the beginning growth. That means it's slowly growing, slow growth. And number 2, this steep line right here is called exponential growth. So this is when the population is growing very fast and the pyramid has a wide base. Here where it starts to level off, so it starts to slow down. And number 4 is where we reach the carrying capacity. That means this is the limit. They stop growing right here. So with that said, that really is all you need to write for today. I hope this was a good lesson. Please don't forget to answer your essential questions for the day. Answers 1, 2. Based off your notes, you should be able to do this. If you have any questions, please call Mr. Alfonso over and I'll be more than happy to help. All right, have a good one.